Hello, I'm Simran and I'll be talking about implementations to minimize risk to the health of the workforce of port workers during the pandemic. The risk of port workers contracting the virus is significantly higher than those following the advice to stay home. Port workers have to travel to and from ports, collaborate with other workers at ports, and in some cases with those visiting on ships. Apart from that, they might not be able to obey the rules around social distancing all the time and must maneuver goods and cargoes coming off ships that may have potentially be handled by infected crew or third parties. For employees who need to enter and leave offices and port areas, it is suggested to schedule a staggering arrival and departure time at work to minimize crowding. The same could be applied for break times too. This is to ensure that the common spaces and the dining areas are not overpopulated and simultaneously limiting interaction between staff. Next, I will be passing my time over to Ellie, where she will continue to talk about the other implementations.
Hello, I'm Ellie and I will be continuing from what Simran has mentioned. There should also be thermal cameras and thermometer stands set up at the entrances of the buildings and port areas to ensure that the temperature of employees are within the accepted range before entering the premises daily. Taking into consideration how countries have developed their own contact tracing apps, port officials should make it compulsory for workers to install and use it. Port workers should also have masks on in addition to wearing their personal protective equipment as much as possible unless doing strenuous activities. A fine should be imposed for those not wearing masks without a valid reason. Lastly, cleaners should execute periodic disinfection daily to keep the port clean. I will now be passing my time over to Rayson for him to talk about the maintenance strategy.
Hello, I'm Rayson and I will be talking about the type of maintenance strategy which could be used during this epidemic. Considering the coronavirus period, countries have implemented measures to control the spread of the pandemic. This has caused a reduction of manpower and restriction of movement. For example, equipment like the rubber-tired gantry cranes will be idling due to the disrupted flow, resulting in the equipment's useful life not being fully utilized. Therefore, using maintenance strategy type 1, which is preventive maintenance, will help prolong the useful life of equipment when not in use. It provides the highest level of precaution in consideration to initial value, maintenance limit, and required level of performance. Furthermore, minimizing breakdown will prevent the need for corrective measures to be taken. Otherwise, prices of the corrective maintenance and loss incurred from the idling equipment will be more than the income earned. I will now pass my time over to Patricia, where she will touch on types of cargo handling equipment used most.
Hello, I am Patricia and I'll be talking about the types of cargo handling equipment which are expected to be utilized most in Singapore ports amid the coronavirus period. The pandemic has definitely accelerated a shift towards e-commerce universally. Hence, online sales have skyrocketed, which means that there is an increase in containerized cargo as parcels would have to be loaded in containers. Consequently, Singapore ports would utilize both their quay and yard cranes for import and export operations to load and unload containers. Not only that, automated guided vehicles will also be used for the movement of containers within port. Now, I will let Nava complete the team's discussion regarding the types of equipment used.
Hi, I'm Nava and I'll be continuing from where Patricia has mentioned.
Due to current situation, ports will also utilize using self-handling equipment such as conveyor belts. This is to minimize the contact between workers. The conveyor belts are highly expected to be used the most as they can move larger materials over a longer distance and they just need a minimal attention. This permits efficiency and reduces the need of manpower during a pandemic. Having automated equipments also does minimize the contact between workers. Thus, we provide a safer environment without compromising company workflow. That is all for our video presentation for port operation. Thank you.